Formula One, the Austrian Grand Prix has ended a 1-2 for McLaren, a win for Lando Norris. Finally, a very important win for Lando Norris. A needed win, especially he had a couple of setbacks this season so far. Obviously crashing in Canada, poor qualifying in Canada. He had a nightmare of a weekend in Canada. But in Austria, he bounced back really, really well. Fully deserved the win. Like in all the weekend, he was unstoppable, I would say. First position FP2, first position FP3, first position Q1, first position Q2, first position Q3, first position in the race. The only thing he didn't get first position was in FP1, but he didn't because he didn't take part of it. Great performance from Lando Norris, and obviously it got a bit nervy a couple of times for him because let's start with the first lap. Oscar, the lights went out, and Norris was trying to defend Charles Leclerc because he was starting second, and it opened the room for Oscar Piastri to go past Charles Leclerc, and it could have passed Lando Norris in the turn 3 after that as well. So maybe that's the only mistake Lando Norris did, because you want to protect, you don't want to lose positions in your race starts, as you don't want to repeat the same mistakes as you did last season, for example, because Lando Norris had lots of mistakes in his race starts, not this season so much. So in his back of his mind, he doesn't want that. So I kind of understand it from that point of view, but also maybe like he made it too easy. I would say he made it too easy for Oscar to pass Charles, in my opinion. And obviously, I think Norris would have preferred to face against Charles than against Oscar. Because the pace of McLaren is, way quicker than Ferrari, that's for sure. So, maybe that's the only mistake you can say. But except that, I thought Lando Norris controlled the race really well managed. I thought he managed the tires really, really well. He got the strategy right at the end, where he pitted first, but Oscar was like waiting for 3-4 laps to asking should I pitch it or not, and he was asking for delta, etc. I think that's maybe the mistake that Oscar, and people say, McLaren favored Lando over Oscar. I mean, they asked him whether you want that or not. Would you rather what? So Oscar chose to stay out for a couple of laps, choose the delta, and he decided to go for the long run. So you can't say that McLaren favored Lando in this race, because he wanted it, he made that decision. Lando got it right with the strategy, the pit stop. He pitted, and it wasn't a good stop for McLaren. Neither also was, to be fair, for the first pit stop for Piastri. But it was, and then obviously before that, the great battle happened between these two for 20 laps. And if you're a McLaren fan watching, having that back of your mind after seeing Canada a couple of weeks ago, you think like, no, you don't want another crash. You don't want another crash. And you can clearly see Norris and Piastri, they were fighting and they were having a good fight, but you can clearly see they were trying their heart out to not crash. And I completely understand. But I thought like Lando Norris defended it fantastically well. Oscar was getting closer and closer, and Lando made a few mistakes, losing tenths and going off the gravel, which Oscar should have sensed that opportunity to take that opportunity to go past Lando Norris when Norris was off the gravel. But except that, like, I thought Lando Norris defended quite well. Oscar from the first to the 20th lap defended very, very well. Good defending. Knew where Piastri was going, could go in a couple of situations, and especially where once when Oscar went past him, Lando Norris went for the old switchy route, going past Piastri, and then he defended it. It was a bit like Leclerc against Verstappen in 2022 in the same track in Austria, where where Verstappen went past Leclerc, but Leclerc went for the old switcheroo and then went past him again. So that was very, very clever and very strategically very good from Lando Norris. And you have to give credit to Lando Norris, because a lot of people say, oh, his racecraft is terrible, he's this and that, he's clueless, he's idiot, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's stupid, he's this and that, and he has no racecraft, he's weak, etc. But I tell you, in this race he showed he has balls. I tell you that, he has balls, and he showed great character to come back from what happened in Canada and to win this race straight away, and against the same guy who, he had that situation in Canada. It takes character, that's for sure. So huge kudos to Lando Norris, good defending, great strategic from him. And Oscar, he made a couple of mistakes, especially in turn 4, where the engineer was trying to tell him, don't do it again, don't do it again, don't do it again. So yeah, Oscar, he was fast and he was closing on Lando, but I think he tried. I would say he tried too much to pass Lando. I think he tried too much to pass Lando. I think maybe he should have kept it simple and be straightforward and try to go past him. But instead I won't say overthink, but he thought does he go there? Does he go there? What do I do? What do I do? So, and there's a lot of the other zones in Austria, so you can easily pass there. It's not like it's Monaco where it's impossible to overtake. So Piastri, a couple of times he was closer, he could have passed him, and he didn't take advantages of it. And in lap 20th, he also locked up and nearly crashed into Lando Norris. The guy nearly crashed into Lando Norris, and it could have been another Spain 2016 Rosberg Hamilton crash, 0 points for Mercedes, and it could have been 0 points for McLaren. If he crashed into Norris, oh my god, then the double DNF McLaren with 3 generations, honestly. But yeah, great fight. I really enjoyed it. It was stressful as an Oscar fan, because you don't want too much drama, too much controversy. But it was great fight. I really liked it. So fantastic from these two. They gave us a very good fight. And then you could clearly see McLaren, didn't enjoy it a lot. The fans we enjoyed it, but you could clearly see the McLaren, the management, Andrea Stella didn't enjoy it much. They thought Norris pit. You could clearly see they wanted to separate the two. They didn't want to have wheel-to-wheel fighting between these two for another 50 laps, because it was so stressful in the first 20 laps enough. So they didn't want another 50 laps of it. And I can understand it from the team's point of view. But I think most of it has got to do with Oscar's choosing the Delta and waiting for a couple of laps to pit. Not, McLaren wanted to separate the two. I don't think so. I think it was more on Oscar. But yeah, like I said, it was a great fight. Lando, like I said, made a couple of 2 mistakes, losing 10th, where Oscar was able to close on him, and also when he went off the gravel, where Piastri should have sensed the opportunity to go past him, but he didn't. But except those 1 or 2 mistakes, Lando Norris controlled the race really well. He was fantastic, super managed, super controlled, well managed. No problem, no drama. No, there was drama. But after let's say 20-25 laps, there was not much drama. For his point of view. So very good, well managed control for Lando Norris. And what makes it even more impressive for Lando is that I couldn't believe that it's true, but I heard from people that he had battery problems in the first 10-20 laps, and also he had damage in his car in the last 10 laps. So he had damage, he had battery problems, he had everything, and he kept Oscar Piastri behind. As Nah, he deserves a lot of credit, Lando. He deserves a lot of credit for him, especially for what he suffered in Canada, to come back and not only beat Oscar, his title rival, also considering he had both battery problems, damage, etc. If this is true what people are saying, because a lot of people said that, then he deserves a lot. Then yeah, Lando, take your hat off to him. So fantastic drive from him. Brilliant. He deserves a lots of credit. And yeah, Oscar Percy had a fantastic race as well. He had a fantastic race, but again, he had a couple of opportunities to go past Lando, and he couldn't take advantage of it. Yes, you could say after the first pit stop there was a huge gap between Norris and Piastri, and you could say, oh, McLaren, they screwed Oscar over. I won't say screwed, but like sometimes it goes through, doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. So it's I don't know why people like to complain in these kind of things, but Lando, like I said, he had a great performance. So was Oscar, but Lando had a great performance, and I feel like Oscar was fastest in the race because a lot of times he was closing on Lando, even though there was that 6-second gap after the first pit stop. He was closing on Lando, and Oscar was like fast. He picked up a lot of fastest laps in the race, and he was fast in sector 2, particularly because sector 2 he was fantastic, and especially in high-speed corners in Austria. But except that, like, in my opinion, Oscar was the fastest in the race. If you talk about the whole weekend, then yeah, Lando was the fastest. But if you talk about in the race, Oscar was the fastest, but Lando won by the mines. He won by the mines. He won the mines. He defended really well. He got the strategy right. He defended very, very well. He was clever when he did the switch route against Oscar. Yes, he made 1 or 2 mistakes, but except that, he had battery problems. He had damage in his car, and then to come up after 70 laps in Austria and still win against Oscar, considering Lando's problems he had in Canada. Amazing, fantastic. He deserves a 10 out of 10 rating, because that was brilliant from Lando. So he deserves a lot of credit. And there was back markers, which it was not easy. He had to lap, he had to lap Bortoletti, he had to lap Lance Stroll, he had to lap Colapinto, Alonso, etc. Particularly Colapinto, because that guy forced Oscar off the track. I don't know what was he doing. I have no idea. Like, what's he thinking? Like, what's he doing? Like, get out of the way, man. And he received a 5-second time penalty, which was fair in my opinion. So yeah, but I enjoyed the fight. Great fight between these two. And Lando Norris gets back to winning ways. And obviously next up is Silverstone, which is the home race of Lando Norris. And I think it's one of the grandstand is for Lando. That's what I heard from Lando fans. That one of the grandstands will be for only Lando Norris fans, which will be great. So he must be extremely motivated for that. And yeah, Lando, he showed that he can come back. He showed that he can come back. Fantastic win, very important win. And now the gap is between them 15 points. And next race obviously is Silverstone. So I can't wait for Silverstone to be huge one between these two. That Silverstone race, I don't want to overreact too much, but it could decide the title race. It could decide. So yeah. Now I talked about McLaren enough of it. Now I want to talk about other things, but obviously because I won't have enough time, I'll close it.